Hello and welcome to another daily. So today I got sent a replay by Phil 000 playing Shyvana top, and the main reason I picked this replay was because he gave some good information in the body of the email he sent me with it. So if you're sending me replays with just the replay and nothing else, and there's no information about it, I probably won't pick it because it just doesn't interest me as much. When I get more information about it, it just makes me more interested into it, and I sort of want to see what happens. And this replay is of a 1600 ELO game, so, and in the future I'm gonna put the like the sender's role and the ELO of it in like the title of the video. So just look out for that in the future ones. I'll also edit the other ones for that as well. And he has exhaust. That's the first thing I noticed, is that he's got exhaust on Shyvana top, and I don't really like that. I personally just most of the time run ignite. Whenever I've played Shyvana top, I've had like the most good experience running ignite. I just feel like you do actually have some sort of burst as well. Just shooting your ulti, flying right onto them, and hitting your E and bursting with your Q, you can just get quite a lot of burst off as well. So Morgana probably could have pulled them, but Amumu should be fine. Yeah, Amumu's not really getting a good pull here. It's not the strongest. Maybe it would have been okay if he had cloth armor, but he actually has boots. I wouldn't really say going boots on Amumu jungle is good, because you're not really an early ganker like, say, Nautilus is. And Nautilus actually bought a regrowth pendant, which I don't think. I guess it's nice to get the early Philos, but you're gonna have to buy boots anyway. So, and you want to gank early on Nautilus jungle, definitely. He's such a good early ganker. Just the damage from his W early does so much, and he's just got an insane amount of CC as well. Amumu, on the other hand, like, doesn't really do much damage at all early, and he also has just his Q for CC, which is quite easily missable. Obviously, Nautilus, you can miss his Q as well, but you generally auto attack first and then Q afterwards, from what I've seen. It's the strongest way to combo his sort of like skill set. I also saw Shyvana started with Q first. I would not start with Q first on Shyvana. Like, level 1, the burnout is going to do so much more damage than Q. And he's also, for some reason, like, letting Renekton push down the lane. It's likely he's doing that because Nautilus is afraid. I mean, he's afraid of Nautilus, which is, I guess, warranted, because Nautilus is an early ganker, but not sure if this one is, but yeah. So Nautilus is an early ganker, so I guess that's why he's being so afraid. But I definitely would start with burnout on Shyvana. It just does so much more damage. You can do if you get burnout and like E second, you can do so much damage so quickly. And you can see here, because Shyvana's been pushed into the tower, he's going to miss a lot of CS. He's already missed maybe 5 creeps now, and that is definitely not good. Renekton is on 19 and Shyvana's on 12. Like, Renekton probably missed some by himself, so he should be a bit ahead of him, really. But he has only 2 pots left and he's half health now. Only 1 pot now. That should fill him up quite a bit though, which is not good because Renekton has 3 left still, and I think Shyvana actually 4-potted. I'm not sure though. But yeah, when he hit the E, then he hit the E directly onto Renekton, giving a nice armor debuff and a bit of damage. I probably would have played aggressive then, just because you're probably going to win the trade when you're hitting the E. But you can see how afraid he is of Nautilus coming to gank him. I mean, he just won't even go near the creeps there. I don't know. I guess that's warranted because a lot of top laners play too aggressive too early and don't even consider the jungler into the equation, and sort of just gets ganked and then loses the lane from then on out. And as you can see, Shyvana's instant reaction to run away after getting attacked is to run away, because he probably thinks Nautilus is there as well. It's a tricky sort of situation on top. I feel whenever I play top, I basically, unless I'm on a really awesome level 1 to 3 champion for killing people, I pretty much always play passive. But I think Shyvana's quite good at killing people level 1 to 3. She's just got an insane amount of damage early. But I guess you never know when Nautilus is going to come and gank. I mean, he's not going to gank middle, really, because it's Morgana. And Akali really has no way of helping out in the first couple levels. And Morgana, obviously, she can't be stunned with her black shield, so yeah, he's probably not going to be ganking mid. Bottom, not so much, because obviously they have wards. That's why generally ganking bottom is not that effective, unless you have like Nocturne or an Ashe or something to help it out a bit. Just generally because you can see where they are at all times, unless there's an Oracle or a well placed and well timed pink. But then if someone's pinked something on bottom, they usually play safe until there's Nautilus. Usually play safe until they get a pink themselves, or till the pink runs out or something like that. There's no reason to take risks if you have no vision. That's my philosophy in this game. And I guess if Shyvana just sort of plays safe right now and doesn't get ganked, it's going to be very, very difficult for the other lanes to get ganked. And Nautilus, like I said, is an early ganker. He's like good in team fights, but Amumu's probably going to be doing a bit more in team fights than Nautilus, in my opinion, anyway. And yeah, Renekton does a lot of early damage. It's just a problem. And I think what people sometimes don't realise about Shyvana's Q is that you can just easily reset your auto attack with it. What I mean by that is you can just quickly do a regular auto attack and then press Q again and get an instant like that. Get an instant auto attack like that. It's just something to keep in mind. You can also kill wards with that, as it does 2 hits when you do the Q. So it takes 3 hits to kill a ward. So you do a regular hit and then the Twin Fang thing, and you get 3 hits off. Maybe he could have forced Renekton to use ult then, or flash maybe, if he just ulted on top of him, because it does provide a sort of knockback effect. And Mumu wants to... Shyvana says dive in the chat, but I don't think that is advisable, really. Mumu has no mana. I noticed he also bought mana potions as well. That's funny. But they actually managed to kill Morgana. I just don't see how you can die as Morgana against Nautilus. It's just not going to be able to be stunned, so... oh well. But right now, what I would do is Shyvana's, I'd push the lane up and basically just go back. That's strange. Yeah, but right now I would go back, definitely. Just make sure you pick up that ward. It's the most important. The most important thing about top is not getting ganked and then getting a ward. And if you get ganked, maybe lane gank. You know, what can you do? That was a good ignite though, because I mean a good exhaust then, because it just lowers the distance Renekton can make before Mumu can get in there and stun. But yeah, right now I would go back here. I would go back and buy triple Dorans, a ward, and some pots. That's what I would buy. But Morgana has actually got a catalyst. Sorcerer boots? Is that a mistake? No, probably not. Sorcerer boots and 2 Dawn shields. I don't really like that build. I guess he's buying the Sorcerer boots because Shyvana does so much magic damage. And yeah, it's true, Shyvana does magic damage, right? Here's a W doing 25 magic damage per second. And it scales +2 off AD, so that's a horrible scaling. This Q does physical damage, and E does magic damage, but it scales off AP. So he's not going to build AP, is he? No way. Is he going to be AP Shyvana? Even though I've seen people do it. But, maybe, I guess it makes the W do more, but... and the Q, I guess... No, the Q does attack damage. It makes the E do slightly more as well, but it makes the W do more, but, I mean... if you're not going to build the AP, then it isn't worth it, to be honest. If you're not building the AP and you're buying the magic pen for it, then it's only increasing the damage in the very early game. So in the first maybe like 10 levels, 10, 11 levels. So I don't know. I guess maybe it could. I don't see it doing more damage than Berserker Greaves and 3 Dorans though. And the 2 Doran shields, I guess, is just to survive against Renekton. And I think he got a kill in his lane though, so he would have been fine just going Doran's Blades or something else, maybe Phage anyway. Probably don't need the extra 2 Doran shields. It's just, I don't know. I don't really like him unless you're playing like Kassadin or Maud maybe, something like that, where you really need the health regen, because she doesn't really need it that bad. I don't think. I wonder if running Spellvamp Quints could be good on Shyvana as well, because I know a lot of people do it on Mundo. Can be quite strong on him. And a bot lane, they have Janna Vayne. That's such a difficult lane to do. Wow, that was such a late cleanse by Vayne. But it was a good risky play by Mumu, because Vayne could have see Vayne has cleansed. She could have easily just cleansed straight away and just flashed out or something like that. But because she was so slow reaction time to cleanse, I mean, I guess it just worked out for Mumu. It was just a risky play that worked out for him. And that's really something I like to acknowledge, is risky plays like that. I really like them. But right now Shyvana still doesn't have a ward. She only had enough for the Sork boots and 2 Doran shields and a ward, so she decided, you know, fuck it, I won't buy a ward. I'll just risk it, which is not advisable really. It's never a good idea not to have a ward for like 12 minutes, first 12 minutes. She's actually quite lucky, because most junglers, say at like 2k, just like to camp top completely, just kill the top lane over and over. It's the easiest lane to gank. In the first 5 minutes, top lane's by far the easiest lane to gank. Like mid's easier than bottom, obviously as well, but top lane is just so much easier. That's why playing safe early is so good on a top lane. Like Shyvana did play safe early, but she's not playing safe now. She could quite easily be getting ganked. And the Mumu's got his Heart of Gold now. It's going to really start ticking away, and I guess Nautilus has got the same as well. Yeah. Morgana, I guess she's going Rod of Ages with that catalyst. And I don't like that build on Morgana. Just say you're playing Kennen or something like that. You wouldn't build Rod of Ages on Kennen, would you? Because just say it didn't have mana or whatever. Because you don't want to because you don't want to. You want to do as much damage as you can while you have your crazy ultimate that does damage even when you're invincible as well. That was a nicely timed flash by Morgana, to be honest. It's good play. Yeah, you don't want to. You want to be doing as much damage and be invincible while you have your ultimate going off. That happens while you're invincible. So, an example who you wouldn't buy Zhonya's on. You wouldn't buy Zhonya's on a Mumu because you do your ultimate and then you do your Zhonya's. It's not like you're going to wait for your ultimate cooldown to come off, is it? You're basically going to just do your ultimate. It happens instantly, doesn't it? Like just then. It happens instantly. So you don't need Zhonya's to protect you while your ultimate's going off like you do on Morgana and Kennen and things like that. So that's basically why you should rush it on anything with an ultimate like Morgana's or Kennen's or not Galio's. It doesn't work on Galio's, I don't think. Pretty sure it doesn't, or people would buy it on Galio. Maybe. But yeah, that was not very good play from Morgana, just sort of letting Akali roam like that. That's the worst thing you want to do, because Akali's so good at roaming. If you let Akali roam and get kills, it's just complete snowbally. If she can get the Rylai's really early, it's just insane. And yeah, Shyvana sort of, I don't know. I feel like the main reason he said to me in the message he found it hard early or something like that. But the main reason maybe why you're finding it hard early is just because of this build. I mean, as you can see now, the W isn't really doing that much more than it would without the Sorcerer boots, so it's not really becoming that much of an advantage, I think. You probably do way more damage with just Berserker Greaves and some, maybe a Phage or something. Phage is a really nice item on Shyvana, I just love it on that champion. And Ignite definitely as well, it's just too good to pass up. Getting some lifesteal as well can really help you in lane, because you can sort of go up and hit creeps and then activate W when they want to go and hit you and sort of get out of there without taking much damage. And the problem with her having no ward, it sort of makes me feel like he's afraid all the time of when Renekton's going aggressive. He might be thinking that the jungler's also there. So, see, he just sort of takes a bit of damage and runs away again. And it's a shame because he probably could win an all-out fight. But he's too afraid to do it because Nautilus just seems to be jungling all the time. Like, he hasn't really ganked top that much at all. So he's trying to gank mid onto Amumu. I don't think Amumu needed to flash then. I guess maybe he was scared of Akali just bursting him down, but he had a good amount of health left. He still had his ultimate as well, so probably could have just ultied Akali if he went onto him. Does he have an Oracle? No, I think it was Nautilus had, yeah, Nautilus had the Oracle. Knowing when a good time to buy Oracle is makes the difference between a good jungler and a bad jungler, I think. That was a nice hook, but too bad you hooked to Nautilus. But yeah, I think the best times to buy Oracle are when you get a kill, or when you've completed your 2 gold per 5s and you can sort of have something to fall back on if you lose it. That's the main thing, is because if you don't have any like gold per 5s yet and you buy an Oracle, you don't have anything to fall back on. All you've done is lost out on 400 gold, and it's just horrific when that happens. And Cogmore's built Wriggles. I don't really like Wriggles. I just hate Wriggles, pretty much. I don't know. I feel like people didn't build it as much. And then ever since someone started building it on Caitlyn, I forgot who it was. But someone started building, maybe it's Chaox or something? Someone started building it on Caitlyn, like, to do dragons with, and people were like, oh my god, Wriggles is so good to do dragons with. It may seem obvious now, but back then people just didn't really think of it. But now people are like, ever since M5 as well started going crazy with Wriggles, have sort of bandwagoned and just built Wriggles on every champion and every lane. No matter what. Which is just a wrong attitude to have about it, I think. Cogmore needs to clean up here. This Akali's doing serious work. Unfortunately, I missed that kill, but it doesn't matter. Sorry about that. But what I noticed is you were engaging in a fight when Renekton had already bought. I can just tell this by now. Renekton's already bought, and you have 2,200 gold. So that is probably a big reason as to why he might have lost that fight. Like, he was quite low, 300 health. Probably had less than that. So, you know, having 2,000 gold, it's a hell of a lot of damage and tank you can buy, which you missed out on. But I'm not sure what the Negatron is going to build into. Probably would have done a lot better off just buying a chain vest. At least that's what I would have bought. But yeah. Mumu's actually bought Cage's lucky pick. I guess he's going to build DFG eventually. Or maybe he's just buying it for another gold per 5 and some extra AP. It actually says that Mumu has no AP, even though this is meant to give you 25, so yeah, buggy LOLReplay for the win. But Shyvana's now got a Phage. Phage is just such a good item on Shyvana because you have the speed to catch up, and then the Phage slow, you can just constantly slow and chase someone down if you're able to win a fight. It's really, really beneficial. That's why it's good on Aurelia as well, because you can get as much true damage off as you can. And Renekton actually has red. It's just tough when you're laning against someone and they've got red. Pretty much now he's going to run mid because he feels he has nothing else to do. So I guess that is what he's going to do. And actually, Akali now has the Rylai's. That is really, really... If Morgana wasn't Morgana, he'd probably have died a few more times now. And this Nautilus actually lost his Oracle here. He seems to be a little bit behind. He's level 8 and Amumu's level 10, so I guess he's just jungling more efficiently than him. And he also has an extra gold per 5 on him because Nautilus died and Amumu didn't, so that's a nice advantage there. But they're just the main problem for this blue team is going to be this Fed Akali. Now, what you should do, right? This blue team has a Fed Kog'Maw. The enemy team has a Fed Akali. As Shyvana, all she has to do is go and try and kill Akali, because Akali doesn't have that much resists. You know, Vayne is 0-2, she's not going to do as much damage as Kog'Maw either. Kog'Maw's also got 30 farm on Vayne. So everyone, really, should be trying to protect Kog'Maw as much as they can. And once again, I just really don't like this Morgana build. That was a nice... that was a very, very long range riding, but that was a nice... Q by Mumu and hook by Blitz as well. But yeah, Shyvana went to do Dragon when they probably didn't need her anyway, and Renekton got a turret out of it, so I don't know. I felt like they probably could have taken the Dragon, even without Shyvana, because they would have been stronger 4v4 anyway. But I wonder what Shyvana is going to build next. It's the main factor. Because Frozen Mallet is just extremely strong item on Shyvana as well. And I'm not sure, like, people just used to go Atmas, but I'm not sure what you would buy now for a bit of damage, because it's all well and good being a massive tank and being impossible to kill, but as the game gets on, you know, and you lack some damage, you're going to show no threat to the AD carry, the enemy AD carry, so yeah. Once you start showing no threat to the enemy AD carry, they can sort of lifesteal through your damage and just have a little bit of tankiness with Guardian Angel as well, and there's no real way for you to kill them because they just kite you all day because you do no damage. So the solution for this used to be Warmog's Atmas or Frozen Mallet Atmas and stuff like that. But I'm not sure. I think the best sort of damage items now probably are more of Mormortius or maybe straight up buying a Bloodthirster on heroes like Riven and Renekton and things like that. But I'm not sure what you would buy on Shyvana. I really am not sure. I guess just more of Mormortius maybe, or Brutalizer. I don't know. Just a straight Hex Drinker. Gives you 25 attack damage, and the lower health you go, you know, you get more, so it's quite strong. I just feel building things like Infinity Edge on a Bruiser is just it's too much. It's far, far too expensive. And the only problem is, in the same way that Nautilus can protect like a Cog or a Vayne really well, it's also very difficult when you're against the Nautilus. Because the ulti is just... when you flash away from the ulti, it still goes onto you. Unless you... I think a QSS will take it off. So unless you have a QSS, it's going to be very difficult. And then it also lets other CC get to you, which is the main problem about it. Not the fact that you're getting CC'd by it, the fact that it puts you in position for maybe the same position for maybe a second, so it allows someone else to get their CC onto you, or in this case, Akali to just go and jump on you and burst you down like hell. And yeah, this Rod of Ages Morg, I just don't think it's worth building. Like, the mana is pretty much a wasted stat. Like, Morg has enough base mana and enough mana regen just by herself, I think. I also think they should change Morg to make it so, like, physical damage stuns don't get blocked by her E. Because it's just stupid that Renekton can't stun Morg like that. It just doesn't make any sense. Maybe she wouldn't get banned so much and she'd be more of a situational, or if someone's really good at Morg, she'd get banned then instead of just basically banned every time. Don't know why Riot leave champions in a state like that. I mean, at really super high elo and super, like, in teams, that was a horrible move, but maybe it doesn't matter. And in, like, proper team games and stuff, Morg doesn't get banned as much. But that's because they have, like, specific counters to her and things like that. Where did Vayne go? Oh, there she is. Couldn't see her. I'm not sure she needed to exhaust then. Oh, close. Yeah. If I was a Mumu, Shyvana actually bought an Oracle. Probably just to help out with Akali, I guess. That's a smart play there. Probably wouldn't have done it myself because I don't like buying things like oracles inside the queue unless I'm a jungler. But yeah, I guess Shyvana's going to head for a Wit's End. That's what I was wondering what she was going to build. The Null Magic Contune. I guess that's a Wit's End. See, that's why the Rylai's are so deadly on Akali. Just impossible to get away from. And if I was a Mumu, I'd probably buy an Oracle here. He needs to get an Oracle. I mean, he hasn't... Oh, he's died twice, so... Yeah, and that's why Rod of Ages is bad on Morg, because you can just be bursted. If Morg had a Zhonya's there, she could have just ulted and Zhonya's, and then they would have had to run away from our ult, or just basically lose the fight. So, to anyone who gets Morg for free, just literally go Zhonya's straight away. Just no point to go Rod of Ages like that. And Kog'Maw could have escaped then, but he just sort of stayed around trying to auto-attack them. And Blitz is being... Wow, that was the boss hook of the century. And Blitz is being crazy here. But that was a boss hook, definitely. But he lost his oracles for it, so it wasn't worth it at all. I mean, he got 360 gold for Akali, but and that's another oracle's lost. Shyvana lost. It's not good. They're sort of just getting caught out and things like that. It's just pointless to get caught out like that. You know, it was Shyvana's fault as well. It wasn't just Blitzcrank's fault or Mumu's fault. It was basically everyone's fault on that team. Like, maybe the least person's fault would be Kog'Maw. I don't know, but he also just stood here auto-attacking when he shouldn't have. I remember there was a time where people just built Bloodthirster first item on Kog'Maw straight away every time, but if you have good protection for your team, I think you don't need the Bloodthirster. And especially on Kog'Maw, you're not going to really be expected to 1v1 a Bruiser on Kog'Maw, as it's just going to be impossible. Like I know Akali isn't a Bruiser, but she's sort of in that category. But for Kog'Maw to try and 1v1 Akali, it'd be impossible. He's got 40 magic resist and 1600 HP. There'd be no way. But I'm not sure why he bought the Wriggles and then the Bloodthirster straight afterwards. It just seems counterproductive. It's 26 minutes and he hasn't really got any big damage items yet. He should already have like a Phantom Dancer and just maybe a Lifesteal by now. Like a Vamp Scepter. I don't really like his build, really. I've just noticed that people like between 2k and like 1500 seem to just build strange things. And it maybe sound like a generalization, but I've seen it a lot where people just build extremely strange things and just completely random that just don't make sense to me. Like Blitzcrank, what is this Sapphire Crystal doing? It costs 400 gold. Why did you buy that Sapphire Crystal? It's not going to make you any more tanky. Really. It will make you slightly more tanky, but it's not worth the 400 gold as a support. I mean, Amumu's buying good items, sort of. But they're using quite a lot onto Renekton here. That's really nice for Kog'Maw to get a red buff. See, the main reason they won this fight was because Kog'Maw didn't really have a chance to misposition himself, I guess you could say. Because he didn't get there until just after to do some extra damage, and they sort of caught Renekton out. And I feel like it's quite a close game now, and if Kog'Maw positions himself good and everyone protects him well, they could still have a really good chance to win. And he's got his Phantom Dancer now, so it's going to increase his damage by quite a bit. It's just that random Wriggles. That could be a BF sword right there. Could just be a whole BF sword paving the way to Infinity Edge, which he really, really needs soon. Like, if Kog'Maw doesn't have Infinity Edge by, like, say, 35 minutes, it's going to be difficult for them to win, because... What did Vayne buy? See, Vayne just, instead of the Wriggles, just bought a straight Bloodthirster. And the damage won't be that much different, really. And the sustain won't be that much different. It's just 1600 gold on a Wriggles that was just pointless, in my opinion. Also, you don't need Wriggles against Vayne, because it's not like you're going to have a hard time in lane. And it's not like she does a mass amount of AD damage like, say, Graves does. Like, the main champions I'd buy Wriggles against are probably Graves, Ezreal, things like that. Wow. Well, that was worth it. Getting a kill for Kog'Maw is always worth it, even if Amumi dies. I mean, just getting a fed Kog'Maw is insane. One benefit, though, now of having Exhaust rather than Ignite would be Exhaust is just generally better than Ignite later on, in my opinion, unless they have 5 heals or something like that, which could be something to try. But yeah, Exhaust is just generally better than Ignite later on. And if your team had 5 Exhausts and you had like a Vayne or a Kog'Maw, it'd be very, very, very difficult for you to kill them. But you'd miss out on like potential kills in mid and top. But right now, Blitzcrank bought another Oracle. They've lost quite a lot of gold to Oracles, which is not too good. And I noticed Renekton actually built a Bloodthirst, and that can work if you're really fed, and if Kog'Maw, and if the enemy AD carry's not that fed, but Kog'Maw's quite fed, and Renekton is not so much. But I guess Wriggle's going to help him against Renekton. I'm not sure if he was thinking about that when he bought it, but it is going to help him against Renekton. It gives you like... How much armor does Wriggles give you? Like 30, so it's quite good. And you have your base armor, so he's got like 115 armor against Renekton. It's going to make it a lot more difficult for him to kill him, like... But he also has a Kali to worry about, so... He's going to need a Negatron eventually. And the main thing, a lot of things I see people do when they need to get magic resist against like an Akali or something that's going to burst them down is they buy stupid things like Wit's End and More Mortius when they really need a nice big Negatron, 750 gold, 740 gold, because it's not that much. Like a More Mortius and a Wit's End's like 5k. That's so much gold to spend on like you just needing a bit of MR. Wow, Mumu's going to die here. That's not too good. That's the only thing about Mumu is that he's not necessarily that tanky, really. Like, say, compare him to like a Malphite or something like that. Mumu's not necessarily that tanky. Not sure what Kog'Maw's doing. They're sort of doing the wolves here. They need to basically not get caught, because if someone's dead already, and another, like, you can defend against the Baron sort of okay, in solo queue at least, 4v5, because everyone's just a bit unorganised and things like that, and sometimes people don't know what to do. Like, the best thing to do if you're 5 vs 4 and you're doing Baron, and the 4 people are coming to stop you, is just pull off and engage them. It's not to get it really low and take loads of damage from it and potentially risk some sealing from you. It's just the best thing to do is engage on them and tell your team that you intend to engage on them if something's happening. And see Shyvana saying don't fight in chat and things like that, which is really, it's really good to communicate to your team, like, because if someone's just sort of like chilly playing solo queue, sort of not paying attention that much, they're sort of just running around trolling about, they probably don't think about things like if everyone's there before they engage. I know it's not your job to worry about what they're thinking about and whether they're, you know, playing the game properly, but it should be if you want to win. And Kog'Maw actually decided to buy GA before his Infinity Edge. I don't know if that was the right choice. I feel like he's going to lack a bit of damage, but I suppose he should do enough. I mean, it's always nice and safe to just buy the GA early. I like the build of going Infinity Edge Phantom and then buying a GA. I really am a fan of that. Dana's just crazy running in, face checking like that. It's just no point to do that. That was a good reroll. He waited until he definitely knew he could catch like at least 3 people with his ult there. And, I mean, there's not much more to say about that other than Janna just got caught by being dumb. Pretty much, and the rest of them shouldn't have got caught either, to be honest. They could have probably gotten away after that. I think Renekton was diveable then, if they sort of manned up. But yeah, they definitely should go for Baron now, because it's just basically free. I mean, 25 seconds until a 10-5 Akali comes back up. There's no way they're going to be able to stop him. I mean, this Vayne is just pretty much completely useless. So now she's caught up to Kog'Maw and farm, but it doesn't matter. The game's already over now by this point, pretty much. I feel even though you're a hyper carry like Vayne or something like or Cog, if you don't have any kills by 35 minutes, you're not going to be doing that much damage really. And what they should do right now is just go back and then regroup and push on the lane. Like knowing what to do. If one person in your team knows what to do in a team sort of sense of things at one point in the game, I mean at like certain points in the game, then everyone on your team should know, because you should just share your knowledge and sort of, if you know exactly what you should do, you should sort of take a commanding role within your team and just order them places basically. Tell them what to do just so you can win the game and get to ELO. And see right now Amumu's sort of doing it. Go back and then push mid. Sort of things like that. Making the right calls in terms of like that, it's just, it can give you a good advantage of you know, getting your team to win. And things like when you've killed them all in a team fight and then going to push mid and going to try and get an inhibitor or something like that, looking at the timers, like pressing tab and looking at the timers and sort of judging roughly when they're going to be running from the spawn and running back to the inhibitor, sort of judging all those times in your head and commanding your team when to go back and when to go and kill the inhibitor and things like that can give you also, you know, a great advantage basically. It looks like they're going to get a dragon here for free, and Kog'Maw actually has a BF sword now, that's good. He's got 300 damage, so just needs to get them crits going. But yeah, they really need to get pushing, because if you take a Baron, depending, like, a large part of the skill of the game depends on how well you take advantage of how far ahead you are. And getting back, and like the start of this is how much you can do when you have a Baron. Also, the enemy's team as well has a skill of like how long you can sort of hold off when they have a Baron. That's like part of skill as well. And getting hooked from this place here, it's like one of the most obvious hook points in the entire game. Like, if you're 1600 ELO, in my opinion, you should not be getting hooked from there. It's like so completely obvious. Like, so completely obvious hooks place. Like, one of the least obvious places is probably like sitting in the bottom of Baron here and hooking from the tri-brush. That's like a really nice place to hook from that maybe people probably wouldn't be so familiar with. But yeah, I guess this is the end of the game now. They're probably just going to go and finish. So, I hope you enjoyed it, guys, and like I said before in previous dailies, I do need replays, and I'm kind of wanting replays higher than 1800 ELO, so if you know anyone that is, like, I guess I could do my own, but I want to do that later. But if you know anyone that is like 1800 plus, I'd really appreciate some replays from them. Thanks, and subscribe if you like this.